So, after the submissions at Berkhamsted, on paper, on some level,
That's it.
that's sort of it. He's good to go into London. But it's not as simple as that, because it does seem there are some contingents still that are not happy, are willing to do sort of street-to-street fighting through London with Norman soldiers, it seems. So he does go to... so he has to make a decision now whether he wants to get himself coronated as soon as possible or not. Now, in most of all medieval history, up to this day, the convention is that the moment the monarch dies, the heir is the new monarch. So like even today, when Queen Elizabeth II passed away...
The Queen has died, God save the King.
The moment she passed away, King Charles III was King Charles III. The coronation is just a formality. It's just... there's nothing legal. He's legally the king immediately. Well, that wasn't the case back then. The Anglo-Saxons, kind of famously, would have some sort of a Witten, some sort of meeting where you have to be sort of elected.
That's how Godwinson got it.
Right. And until then, you're not the king.
That's how Edward the Eighthling got it.
Yeah. Edgar the Eighthling.
Is it Edgar? You've got Edward.
Oh,
here.
sorry.
That's
right. My misspelling. It is an Edgar.
Right, okay.
Sorry about that. And so, but the norm at the time in France, in Normandy, in Europe, was that it's the coronation ceremony that makes you king.
Right.
It's when you're anointed and the crown put on your head. That's the moment you become king. And so that's what was in the mind of at least all the Normans, or let's say the French party, because they're not all Normans, they're from all over the place. Like I say, there's quite a lot of Bretons there, people from Maine and Anjou and Aquitaine and all sorts of things. So all in their minds, it's like you're not king until you've been coronated. So it's like a fairly delicate political decision. Are you going to sort of go into London, a sort of badly unfriendly London, and try and get yourself coronated, or not, or keep playing this game and see how it goes? Apparently, William was minded to not do that. It was too dangerous to do that. But apparently he was persuaded by all the men around him that, no, you've kind of got to do that. Like, every day you're not coronated is perilous.
Yeah.
So they
weakens his position.
Right, yeah. Yeah, we're told that his magnates and his bishops, quote, begged him to take the crown, right? He get himself coronated. And so apparently he hesitates at Berkhamsted for a while, again, another week or two or something in that order. Because it's really like one of those life decisions.
Oh, yeah.
I could lose everything right now if I make the wrong decision.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's up for grabs, but could also...
Well, yeah, I mean...
lose everything.
That's the thing with any of these... This is why... the Hannibal after Rome thing is so important. He waits 3 days or something. It's like, what are you doing? But this is a massive decision. Like, the course of history hinges on his decision now. Same with William here. It's like, well, look, if I make the wrong choice, and the thing is, what's he doing? He's trying to divine into the future what the consequence of the action will be. Good luck. No one knows. It's all mystery, So yeah, I don't envy him having to make such decisions, frankly.
I mean, he's a gambler. They all are. I mean, people. It's the whole thing's one giant gamble.
You don't get this far if you're not a gambler,
right? Oh, absolutely. and it's not just like the big gamble of trying an invasion or not. It's no, along the way you're going to have to roll the dice again and again and again and again. And well, this is a big one.
Like going into London with his army could be a trap. He doesn't know. Like, the fog of war is all around him. He doesn't know where Edwin and Morcar are. He doesn't know how many Saxon warriors have been raised in their army. But they know that there are, men in London who are prepared to fight because they've already been repulsed by them. It's like, okay, well, look, I'm not taking my army into a hostile city. I'm going to be surrounded and cut down like the bloody, the Fifth Crusade or whatever it is, that goes to Cairo. Like, I can't remember which one it was, but one of them just gets massacred in Cairo. Because
one of the later ones.
Yeah, they go into the city and they're just surrounded and chopped up in the streets. I mean, that hasn't happened yet. But the point is, like, this is a known danger. And so you can see William being like, okay, yeah, this is concerning.
Urban fighting in those days
was gross.
I mean, urban fighting always, to this day, is...
horrible.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah. Street to street, room to room even.
Yeah. So
like room clearing of a whole city.
Yeah.
Oh.
Good luck running away, because if you're on a big open field, okay, you can run away. You can throw down your arms so you can move faster than the other guy behind you, and you can flee. You can actually get away. All you have to do is run a mile to that tree line over there or something. But in urban fighting, where are you going to go? In the next room? You know, and the door might be blocked or something. Who knows? You know, it's horrible, and like you've got no visual acuity at all. You know, at least you could look down a battle line, but okay, we've got let's go. But your limit is the room you're in or the street that you're in. That's it. You don't know what's happening in the next street.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm thinking, I don't know why, because it's a modern example, but while you were talking there, I was thinking of the Second Battle of Fallujah.
Yeah.
Where even in modern days, it's like, it's sort of crazy. It's sort of a mad thing.
Behind every corner could be a guy with a gun or a sword who's going to just hack you as you go past. And it's like, it's incredibly dangerous.
Every window, every rooftop could be a sniper, or an archer, or a crossbowman or something.
Get Pyrrhist.
Yeah, right, yeah. The Great Pyrrhus.
Yeah, exactly.
It's stupidly dangerous.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, killed by an old lady with a bloody roof tile because he was just invincible in combat, but you're in a city, it's the way it works, If you're on the battlefield, mate, no one would have been doing this to you.
Yeah, you can win a number of one-on-one single combats, but quite literally a little old lady could drop a roof tile on your head, and that's it, you're done.
Yeah.
But so, even though William hesitates, we're told he does hesitate. The accounts that are pro William say it was out of seemliness. He didn't want. It was out of modesty.
It's just like before, isn't it? Where he's just, I'm just being moderate here. I'm the modest, seemly, moderate conqueror. Yeah, okay.
And that's the correct response of most scholars, is just to laugh in the face of that.
Yeah, okay.
Like, okay, mate, if you say so, bro.
It's okay for William to admit that his position is precarious. He doesn't know what's out there. He doesn't know what the right decision is. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. No one could expect any more of you,
Yeah. One of the other things apparently he argued was that he really wanted Matilda, his wife, Matilda Flanders, to come over and be coronated with him, because she'd been left back in Normandy. In fact, just super quick to say on her, she's left as a regent now, and lots of other times over the next 15 or 20 years in Normandy to be a regent. She's completely capable.
Oh, I bet she is.
She's supposed to have been tiny.
Really?
Some said she was like 4'10". Some say that's an exaggeration, but
William's probably quite a big guy as well.
I don't know, but that's one of the things that's known about her, that she's meant to be absolutely tiny. But she's completely capable to just politically to run things.
It's amazing how we keep coming into like Emma and was Godwinson's mum, and all and then William's wife, like all of these very capable women who have dramatic and impactful effects on the events of history, and it's like, but women have always been oppressed. Oh God, don't even. There is just too much evidence that women have been involved in all of this.
A couple of generations after this, we've got the civil war between Stephen and Maud, or another Matilda, Maud Matilda, where she is, And
then after that, you've got the towering figure of Eleanor of Aquitaine. Right. It's just like, look, women are just too intrinsic to the story to pretend that they didn't have any effect.
It's
just ridiculous.
Sort of a sickening claim. I think.
And it's definitely insulting to these women. Anyway.
Well, and
isn't that nice as well of William being like, well, I want my wife with me when I get crowned. That's actually quite nice. It's like, because it doesn't matter. Like if he gets crowned and just brings her over a week later, she's still the queen. No one's going to question it. Again, it strikes more of sentiment than practicality. That right?
Yeah.
So,
and he seems to have. They were real partners. In all sorts of ways. And they had loads of children, like 9 surviving children, so probably way more than that even. And she seems to have been a real help for him. Some queens, some consorts are just sort of like Jackie Kennedy types. Like, you be quiet now. Let the men do all the policy. But she's not. She's involved in stuff.
She's not like Justinian's wife, though, is she?
Theodora.
Theodora, that's it, yeah. She's not like that, though, is she? I mean,
No, she's not even. She doesn't seem to have secret dungeons where she tortures all her enemies to death or anything like that. Okay, so apparently William is convinced that he needs to get into London, get himself coronated as soon as possible, really. So that's what he does. We are told he sort of acts sort of very cautiously, sort of some feeling out operations. And a few of the first Norman men, first mounted Norman knights that do enter London are ambushed by people, and a few of them killed. but he sort of pushes on regardless.
Are the people in London just letting him in then, or what?
Well, yeah, like I say, Stigand, the Aetherling, Morcar and Eadwine have all
submitted,
either
so they're just
submitted or fled.
Opening the gates to him, right? Okay.
It's kind of, basically, yeah. Yeah, they don't have to storm the walls.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it does seem, well, it is the case that it's still a dicey situation.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so let's get into it. So he gets himself coronated, famously, on Christmas Day, 1066, in Westminster Abbey, the Westminster Abbey, where Queen Elizabeth's funeral took place. It's actually it's the exact same place, but the building is a little different now.
It's been rebuilt in like the 13th century or something. But
it was,
but the continuity of the building. This is the sort of ship of Theseus thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, it might not be the same bricks, but it's the same building, the same continuity, the same place, and the same significance. And it's always been that thing,
Yeah.
So it might have my broom might have 3 different handles and 4 different brushes or whatever, but it's still my broom.
Yeah. Like I was saying with Josh on the Contemplations, every single cell in my body, every brain cell, everything from when I was a baby is gone.
Yeah.
But I'm the same person. And there are actually bits of Westminster Abbey today, not much, but there are bits that are like, well, this dates from Edward the Confessor.
Yeah.
That doorway and that step or something.
Yeah.
That's actually original from the Confessor's time.
But it's about a continuity of use. That's the thing. It's like the place was used as this thing. So it's always been that way.
We're told, one of the accounts tell us that it's an incredibly tense situation.
I bet it is.
And that some of the Londoners put up, quote, every possible resistance. But those small contingents, shall we say, are sort of broken up and dispersed and butchered, more or less. So for his coronation, there's a really interesting, fairly famous episode where he's being coronated on Christmas Day, and outside the abbey is being defended by a few hundred Norman warriors. Pardon me. And at one point, in the ceremony, a great cheer goes up from inside the abbey.
And he thinks, oh, we're under attack.
Apparently, the Normans outside think it's like some last-minute backstab move.
Which it quite possibly could have been.
Not completely unreasonable.
Yeah.
And they think that maybe their duke, their king, is being set upon inside the abbey. So they burn down all the houses around the abbey and kill a load of people.
Could have gone in the abbey and found out.
Well, that's what, again, modern scholars say, like, well, wait a minute. That doesn't really make sense. If you thought that, wouldn't you run into the abbey?
Well, I don't want to go in and get killed.
Right. But what it does do is, regardless of the detail, it just speaks volumes, doesn't it? The Normans are they're a hostile, conquering force.
Yeah, it's a highly strung situation.
We're told that it's the Archbishop of York that was doing it, and William himself. By the end of the ceremony, they were both physically quaking.
Really?
That the conqueror himself was physically shaking in his boots.
That's interesting.
Because what if the whole of London just decides we're gonna?
Yeah, we're not having this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna. It's all on now.
What if the two earls turn back up with 5,000, 10,000 men?
Right.
Like it's just like you are in a very precarious position at this point.
Yeah, precarious is the perfect word for it.
Yeah.
Very precarious.
Yeah.
There's no doubt really.
You're in a hostile city and you're claiming it. Good luck.
And yet, well, he wasn't killed or anything on the spot there, and he is now coronated King of England, and fully anointed and everything in the eyes of God, and so at least on paper, it's sort of there's a line drawn under it to some extent there. Although most of England still is, and there's many years worth of rebellion still to go, many years. So to the point where after his coronation, he removes himself, as I say, to Barking.
Yeah, you don't want to stay in London.
Now, these days, Barking is sort of firmly in East London. But in those days, it was sort of outside London. It was sort of the closest he dare be, sort of, to London at that point. And he stays there for a bit of time because more things go down kind of at Barking. More people come and bend the knee. And it's at Barking that we're told, he starts parceling out loads of land and money.
Right.
So one of the few things that you can really point to for Harold Godwinson, which was sort of not a great thing, was that he was very miserly. Apparently what he did do is amass loads and loads of money and treasure. And what William does is just parcel nearly all of it out to his followers.
Well, I mean, if you want them to be on your side...
Exactly, yeah.
You've probably been promising them this anyway. When we get to England,
Definitely.
when I'm king, you're all going to have lots of money and land, so that's why you want to fight with me.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely the case.
Yes.
And so this is where a lot of people get all the treasure they've been promised, and sort of there's a whole point of them going over at all was for this.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times, people's oldest claim to be landowners, they're like, the conqueror himself at Barking bestowed this upon me. Yeah. It's completely, you can't question it.
Yeah.
Because that happened, including Count Odo, his brother, and William Fitzosborne. They get given basically en bloc whole earldoms, not quite these super earldoms. One historian I was listening to the other day talked about that by the time of Godwine and Godwinson, they had basically super earldoms.
Right.
You know, like the whole of Northumbria, the whole of Mercia, sort of all the Midlands in a way.
Yeah.
Those days beginning to be over.
Right.
William doesn't like that. He breaks things down into smaller packets. Yeah,
because as I understand it, like one of the problems that Godwinson has is that he is controlling so much land, right? Like, because normally you would have had some sort of subordinate, you know, you're the king, so you've got an earl or a duke or a baron or whoever, who controls, like, you know, the Duchy of Cornwall or something, the Duchy of Devon. But if you've got all of that, then you don't have anyone to fall back on.
Well, we know that, jumping ahead a bit and talk about many decades in the future, but basically it's broken up into much, much smaller earldoms and even smaller things than that.
And he makes sure that no one has land near each other, right?
Yeah, you don't want anyone to be overly powerful.
Yeah. So as I recall reading a book about this, and like, you know, people would have different patches of land all around the country, but nothing contiguous.
Right.
You know, because I mean...
Absolutely, yeah. They break them down into smaller things. Rapes, that's a thing. Like you control the castle and rape of Lichfield or something.
Yeah.
Or break them down even into sort of hundreds. Because that's an older thing, but still they used it. So we're told also, we have a few details of sort of what happens at Barking. Again, it's so funny, you might not know, but I'm from East London or Essex, the border of Essex and London. And Barking is such a dive. It's a horrible, horrible place in London. It's so gross. And just completely urban.
Yeah.
It's completely urbanised. Just high streets, chicken shops and things.
When we were doing the Viking invasions, like the Battle of Chippenham and stuff like that, it was just like... Chippenham's not an impressive place. Like, I mean, it's not bad, actually. It's not... I mean, compared to a lot of the places in England now, it's actually... Its status has gone up just because everywhere else's status has gone down. But it's not a place of great importance or prestige, but I guess it was then, you know.
Yeah. Or like Wallingford is a really lovely market town. The last thing going there, you'd have a lovely day out at Wallingford, I would have thought. The last thing you think of is a ravaging army going around murdering and raping and all that sort of frightfulness, as Churchill says. He calls it frightfulness. Very English, that, isn't it?
It is.
So, again, just one last thing sort of to say about Barking is that we're even told that he gives out to lots of people, not just straight up money and lands from the royal treasuries, but they're given golden crosses and golden vestments.
So looting the churches.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So this is a classic thing of what I'm talking about with the historiography here. At no point does it say... William looted all the churches in the southeast.
He just happens to have all of these crosses and vestments.
Just got golden vestments.
Don't know where they came from.
To hand out. Yeah, just found them.
Just lying around.
It means it was some sort of sacrilege, some sort of plundering of churches must have gone on. Just must have.
Yeah.
And also, he sends the Pope lots and lots of baubles and trinkets.
Of course he's got to, really, isn't he?
And money. We're told by William of Poitiers that more gold and silver coins... This is being sent to Pope Alexander. More gold and silver coins than could be credibly told, as well as ornaments that even Byzantium would have considered precious. He also sends him Harold's personal banner, which apparently had a picture of a
It's a dragon, isn't it?
well, that's Wessex.
Oh, right.
But Harold's personal one, it had a man, a warrior, embroidered in gold on it.
Right, okay.
Anyway, again, it's sort of a symmetrical thing where the Pope had sent him some sort of papal flag banner thing, and William sends him back Harold's one, the sort of defeated heathen, although he wasn't heathen, he was a Christian.
No, he wasn't heathen. What?
Sorry, but he wasn't. But he wasn't.
He was on the Pope's bad side.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I mean. Sorry, not a heathen at all. He was certainly Christian.
Yeah.
But not in line with Rome.
To watch the full video, please become a premium member at lotuseaters.com.